The food service sector faces pressure to cut waste as demand for sustainable meals grows. Deloitte reports that 80% of APAC consumers will pay more for sustainability, and yet FAO says one-third of global food is wasted. Simon Haig and Dan Campion from Kerry are here today to share their insights. Gentlemen, what key challenges, such as climate change, supply chain disruptions, and rising costs, impact the food service sector's sustainability efforts?
So we're seeing some big challenges both globally and in the food service sector. But the other side of that is that it's also a great opportunity to have an impact. From a climate change perspective, we want to reduce global warming to 1.5 degrees longer term. Shorter term, we're seeing increases of 1.55 degrees in 2024. And the knock-on effects of that is that we're seeing more droughts, more floods, more storms, more fires, depending on where you live. Our trajectory is actually towards 2.7 degrees. So we're going to see different negative outcomes joining together for worse overall outcomes. Because of that, we're seeing governments take more action, increasing regulation, increasing taxes, and also reducing fossil fuel subsidies. What we're also seeing is that food prices are being impacted as crop yields reduce, plus the availability of crops is affected also. Now, it's not all about doom and gloom. We do have a great opportunity to act together and work together to fight for every fraction of a degree. So the more that we can build partnerships and work together, I think the greater impact we can have to have a better food service sector for us all.
You raised some very interesting points there, gentlemen. Can I ask how co-creation between food service operators, suppliers, and technology providers drives a more sustainable food service industry, in your opinions?
So Dan talked about opportunity. Okay, so the first piece is taking the opportunity together through co-creation. When we talk about co-creation, whether it's through the moral case or the business case, it's about making progress one step at a time. So if you look at cocoa, it's at a 51-year high price, record commodity cost. Customers are looking to reduce costs on cocoa. We can do that through cocoa reduction technology. But when we do that, the price is still high. So how do we add value? We add value by working with collaboration like the Rainforest Alliance Coalition, which supports us to add an additional consumer benefit that allows the price to be more premium. If you think about the moral case, consumers are looking for more nutritious products. Reducing sugar is not easy. It's about mouthfeel as well as about sweetness. Using taste sense technology that we have not only helps the planet by reducing the water that's used to make sugar, it also produces products that have less sugar in them for a consumer, and in most cases gives a cost benefit to the business. It's not just a moral case, it's a no-brainer from a business case. And then the last one to talk about is food waste. 50% of all food produced in Southeast Asia goes to landfill. And we have a massive opportunity to work together to develop a more nutritious product. The easiest way is by extending shelf life through preservation systems. So we can extend 1, 2, or 3 days of that product's life cycle for it to be used even more, reducing landfill. So that's a couple of examples of how we can come together, co-create, and make better products for our people, our planet, and our society.
I'm assuming it's somewhat taboo to talk about that quite disturbing statistic that 50% of food in this region ends up in landfill. So it leads me to ask what strategies enhance collaboration in the food service industry to develop sustainable menu offerings that align with consumer preferences and demand.
So we do have some great options to reduce food waste, not just extending shelf life. We can also build in start to finish into our innovation process to make sure that we're reducing food waste throughout the chain. That could be in different pack sizes. That could be in making sure that the standard operating procedures are really clear with our customers. It's beginning and building it into that design process from the start. I suppose when we look at the food service sector, we do have a really big challenge because not only do we need to reduce the footprint they already have, especially in Asia or the Asia Pacific, Middle East and Africa region, we also have really high growth aspirations. So we need to reduce the impact of our growth also. And starting with that co-creation in mind is extremely important. From our perspective, we work in complex supply chains, we work in dynamic markets. Whether you're at the start of your journey or you've already begun, the more that we can have partnership and work together on that co-creation, the greater an opportunity there is to have an impact.
And just to add to Dan's point, like being a customer-centric organization and having really embedded relationships where we go deep with our customers gives the best results. So one example, Dan talked about packaging. We worked with one customer understanding their operations processes and took a 1.3 kilo bag into a 10 kilo bag from plastic to paper. We reduced 40 metric tons of carbon from their supply chain just from the packaging of one SKU. And that's by really understanding how our customers use their products, how they're used in stores. And the difference between retail and food service is that operational in-store element that you don't see in the retail sector. So we have a double potential to save and to deliver impact. And I think that's a really important thing to add.
Well, gentlemen, you raised some very valuable, fascinating, and very important points today for our viewers. So once again, Simon and Dan, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Once again, our guests were Kerry's Simon Haig, Southeast Asia General Manager for Food Service Chains, and Dan Campion, APMEA Sustainability Lead. Both gentlemen will be joining the QSR Media Asia Tab Square Conference and Awards on April the 3rd. For more news and a chance to network with industry leaders during the event, please sign up at qsrmedia.asia.